What's good, y'all? So in this video, I'm gonna be reacting to why Pusha T and Kendrick are about to start a rap war and everyone is scared. This is a fantastic hip hop video. I don't know what he is talking about. I'm just here, you know. I want to know what's going on. So yeah, let's get into it.
Now, when it comes to what's going on in hip hop, we are truly on the verge of witnessing a lyrical showdown like no other, as right now, we are about to see what multiple of the greatest
I
rappers
reacted
ever.
to this, by the way, nostalgia a few weeks ago, maybe a few months ago. I don't really know. Time's not really real for me. Kind of messed up in my head. But I don't know. I did react to it though, so check it out. I also will have my Patreon link in the description if you want to check that out as well.
In a time where both their presence has never been more needed, and when people have never wanted to hear what they have to say more. And now,
Pusha
before
T
we
from
go
Virginia
into
Beach.
what
I'm
we
from
are about
Virginia
to see
Beach.
with both the return of Pusha T and Clips, and also Lil Wayne with the Carter 6, and what this is going to mean for new beefs and old
Y'all want
ones,
me to
be
react to
sure to
that?
leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton, and as the
Leave a
next
like and
moves we are
subscribe.
about to see in hip hop over the next few weeks are going to be the biggest thing we've seen in the genre really since Kendrick Lamar in the Super Bowl. Make sure to leave that like so all of hip hop knows what's going down. And now, with that said, when it comes to all of the excitement going on in rap, well, if you are waiting for things to get more competitive over the next few weeks, we are about to see the genre do just that, and really why this is over everything else is because rap has now welcomed the return of the only other person who could even call themselves something close to the boogeyman in none other than Pusha T. And
You know, I don't want to discredit fantastic hip hop, but I'm not gonna lie, he's made predictions in the past and they have not been true. I remember he was like, Taylor Swift will be on the GNX album, and I was just like, okay, like I'm not a Taylor Swift fan of her. I'm not a Taylor Swift music fan. I don't know her as a person. She kind of seemed cool. But of her music, I wasn't a fan. So when he said that, I was like, I don't, why? That's kind of a weird mix. Um, I know they have a song together already, a remix, but yeah, he's just said stuff in the past where it just hasn't come out to be true. So I'm not really sure if something happened. I guess he'll explain it in this, but I don't know. Taking what he says with a grain of salt unless there's actual evidence.
with Push. Well, in this era where Kendrick Lamar has been leading the league in every statistical category possible, and because of his dominance, it's at the very least felt like 99% of the field of rappers has ran away from the booth and being competitive in general. Well, Push is being the antithesis of these soft rappers and is embracing the lane that
It
Kendrick
was just
Lamar
a
has
whole
paved. And
beef.
now, if Kendrick Lamar has started the job of fixing hip hop and getting all these vultures to be exposed and leave, it almost feels like Push is trying to finish the job Kendrick started, or at the very least, just prove once and for all that in this era where it has never been easier to spot the real and the fakes, and the MCs who are in this thing for the right and wrong reasons, that after decades of being in the rap game and having beefs with some of the biggest stars ever, based on what we have seen from Push on the new clip song H Trumpets, and with what he is trying to do with this entire album and era of his career. Well, aside from getting one of the greatest rap duos of all time with one of the best producers ever for another classic, Push wants to take out every rapper who has
Those
ever.
them Virginia boys love it. Love it. Motherfuckers be sleeping on Virginia. I'm not gonna lie. Like we really got talent in this bitch. Right. A lot of your faves have come out of okay, well, I'm not gonna say that. But some of your faves have come out of Virginia Beach. I'm Dante also come out this, Timberland, Missy Elliott, Pharrell, Nina.
On Drake, so there's not much to do there, as now two rappers have defeated Drake in a rap beef like few other defeats have ever been handed to somebody. There are still some massive names that Push wants to settle the score on, and who he wants everybody to realize that he is absolutely better than once and for all. And if you have not noticed, out of this entire list, the biggest name that Push is looking to really just embarrass in this era more than anyone else is who you could say is his longest standing rival in none other than Lil Wayne. And now, if you don't believe that
Oh,
Push is getting ready to
I thought
try
they were
his
about to say
best to
Drake.
embarrass Wayne, let's just look at the timeline of events leading up to the return of Push and Clips and the entire rollout for this record for that matter, which in its entirety pretty much involves Push sitting on this album for almost an entire year at this point and then turning it in and signing a deal with Jay-Z's Roc Nation to distribute it right around the time that Lil Wayne's Carter 6 is about to drop, and right as this record is expected to release on June 6th for Wayne, 1 week before that record drops, and on the same day that Wayne released an entire tape with Manny Fresh with a new song and remixes to hype people up for that record, which you could say is the real start to the planned rollout that Wayne and his team have had for this record. All of a sudden, Push comes out with this amazing lead single to the Clips record to
Is it
start the.
good? Like, should I react to it? Like, y'all let me know.
out. And overall, when you compare the two tracks that just came out, while everyone is making fun of Wayne for releasing a confusing track with way too much autotune that just feels like a mess and feels like the most anticlimactic and really lame thing to lead up one of the most anticipated rap records for so long with, at the same time as that, Push and Clips are being praised for releasing one of the best songs of the year that, from the beats to the bars, could literally not have been better. I mean, when you see all this
Well,
conversation and the
damn.
way that these two artists came out today to get ready for their next big moments, I do not believe for a second that when bringing Clips back out and running back one of the greatest duos that rap has ever seen, that Push did this by coincidence. Because really, with Push deciding to line up the return of something so special and that from the first track that we have heard alone is so clearly high level, right alongside Wayne's Carter 6 album, which again, when it comes to Push being the other boogeyman and master tactician in rap, I mean, you see the play is so clear. Really, when we look into this and why Push is deciding to compete with Wayne just like he has, is because he clearly smells weakness coming from Wayne's end of things, and in this time where they are going to be the two legends releasing these blockbuster summertime albums for this corner of hip hop and music, well, clearly Push believes that he can take down Wayne and win their long-standing beef once and for all, and also prove in the process that while Wayne is not who he was long ago, and that he has fallen all far from that, Push is better than he ever was. And again, not to disrespect Wayne, but when it comes to this weakness that Push sees so clearly and that I am talking about, I mean, when you look at these two records, you can see the difference very clearly. Because when we look at the Clips album,
Wait, if you've taken Uber since 2019, this is the money glitch that's getting women properly compensated. Uber allegedly
Y'all
failed to
going to
properly scan
jail.
drivers.
before anything else, when you see that Pharrell is doing the entire production on this thing, and then in addition, the expected features are Kendrick, Lamar, Jay-Z, and Nas, that speaks.
Bitch. What? Excuse me? I know you fucking lying, bro. That's a fire. That's a fire.
Volumes, and then compare that to Wayne, and the things he's most excited about are an MGK and Miley Cyrus feature.
It's Alabama Barker dead. And someone right here.
And a Billie Eilish
Is that
sample. I mean,
MGK?
we've seen Wayne talk about this thing
I
in a
don't look
flipping
like
interview
him.
he did kind of recently. What the common theme that's driving the Carter 6 so far has been is just absolute randomness and confusion, which even with the cover, that was literally fan art that people have made multiple years ago and have shown off work that has been very similar to it. Overall, with the Carter 6, everything just looks like an absolute mess, which meanwhile, at the same time, in this long-standing beef, and when really Wayne has never looked more lost and confused, Push is now seeing that when he called Wayne a multi-platinum rapper who was trapped and can't retire back on the Daytona track that started the Drake beef Infrared, that sentiment has never felt more true, because really, unless the Carter 6 does something
Oh,
that
okay,
nobody
so he
is
took a shot. Are we sure that was aimed at like Lil Wayne and not Drake though? That could be to a lot of people, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. Some people still.
expecting. From the features to the rollout to the latest move Wayne has made with this questionable song and Manny Fresh mix to bring in its release. I don't even want to say it, but everything about this record really does feel off, and for how legendary of a series the Carter albums are, and for how hyped up the last one was even at that, you would be lying to yourself if you said that something didn't feel very weird in terms of there just being little to no hype for this record overall, and just with the strategy and vision feeling so messy and confusing. And now, as the Carter 6 is a week away from release, and again, Push is crafting this perfect plan to take over and win this beef once and for all, Wayne better have some bars ready for his longtime rival in Push, or just have a record that does not seem as confusing and pointless as its rollout otherwise has shown. Because otherwise, if Wayne fails with what Push is doing with this whole strategy, is just starting his rollout alongside Wayne's with a way better single, and then letting Wayne drop and flop, and then ultimately having Clips release a
I'm not
record
gonna
which is
lie. Never mind.
show how a rapper from that era should age with an actual album of the year contender, and considering all of the beef and all of the competition in hip hop, having a record that good, or in Wayne's case, having a record that bad, is never going to make or break perception more in this era where people are more in tune to these things that matter as a whole. So really at this point, it really looks like Lil Wayne is falling into a trap where he is going to look bad whether he knows it or not. And I mean, if this is how Push is going to end the
His
beef
his
once,
his his freaking dreads look crazy here. Look like crazy, fried, electrocuted, fucked. Sorry. They just look crazy and I couldn't I had to say something.
for all, and really also end a lot of the conversations around Wayne that happened since the Super Bowl by showing that he is not the guy that people have said he was, and that the fake outrage after the Super Bowl halftime show didn't really mean anything. I mean, Bush is
Oh, he's
really
a
going to show that
medical
he is one of the worst rappers
person
to ever beef against, because alongside
patient.
Kendrick Lamar, he are just beefing with you in ways that you can't even fathom unless you were at the very top of your game. And now, alongside Lil Wayne, another rapper that Push has made it very clear that he wants to walk
Drake.
past now and show everybody else that he has outlasted this crash out is none other than Kanye. And now
Oh,
with Ye, after he has been ranting for months about Push and has tried to say so many off-putting things about the guy who he made so many great songs with. Which, when it comes to everything Ye has said, we are not even going to get into all of it because it's pointless.
I
We're
don't know
pretty
what
much
he
in the midst
said
of Ye's
so
anger and delusion.
about
He called Push a
Push.
fake tough guy and a fraud, and then he also tried to say that Push stood on his shoulders to diss Drake. Well, after embarrassing himself and saying all of this, Push came out rolling with his new clip song and had some bars
I'm not
ready.
gonna lie. Sometimes when Kanye talks, it's like what he says, like you have to like go against it. Like he'll say something, and you just be like, like I feel like you're lying. Like it's probably not true. You know what I'm saying? It's really unfortunate because, and then he just says like the most outlandish things that I'm like, well, why would you say this? Bring it to light. Y'all know what I'm talking about. What he said when he snitched on what he used to do to his cousin. And
Hope you got your squeegees. At your interviews, I just kiki, life's peachy, ASAP, and Riri. And now with
okay, so obviously this is Kanye, Kanye, Kanye. This Drake though? Because I'm missing what that why that would be related to Kanye.
these bars. Well, Push pretty much said that Ye is washed, and the guy that he and everybody else once loved is no longer there. And as Push says this while also making fun of Ye's interviews in the process, which again, as Ye did say these things about Push in his interview with Ack, it seems like a direct response and play off of that. I mean, really, in the smoothest way possible, Push has just clowned Ye, and it's clear that on some level, these disses worked because Ye has already said that after this track released, that he misses his
It's
friendship
so
with Push.
weird,
And I
bro.
think aside from Ye saying something like this, as Push has learned that the guy will like him one day and then diss him the next, they will never be good. And I am sure that Push is gonna have more choice words for Ye on this album, just like the other two rappers who he also wants to let know that he is the real boogeyman, both in Drake, who I am sure there are gonna be some small lines at him which are gonna laugh at the absolute joke of a state his career is in, and also Jim Jones, who there were already some disses for which were supposed to be on this album that were previewed at a Louis Vuitton event way back, and from those lines which responded directly to the beef that they were in at the time, to a lot more which I'm sure will flesh out and settle the score there. You should really expect Push to come for Jim and clean up yet another W in a back and forth. And now with all of this, well, if you are watching Pusha T and what he is doing now that he is back with the absolute dream team of his brother Malice and Pharrell Williams, you are not on his side. I would not just be scared, but I would be terrified, because it's so clear that now after 23 years since he came out on the rap scene, Push is trying to send a message to both his contemporaries from his era and every other rapper ever and every other hip hop fan that despite everything that has happened and all of the people who he used to work with and be against crashing out and falling off in ways that you could have never imagined, Push is still standing near the top of the rap game, and at that, he is creating just as amazing albums as he was at the beginning of his career, if not better. And this is really why with Push, you just gotta fear Push, because really at this point in the entire history of hip hop, I don't think we have seen a rapper at this state in their career still be so focused on delivering just purely great music with no other reason just for the glory of the game. And really because of this, as we wait to see what Push is really going to do in this next
Lamborghini
chapter of his career,
Mercy.
all we can do is just
She's
sit
so
back and wait to
thirsty.
see absolute peak hip hop. And so now with all this said, let me know. What do
Like I said, I'll wait to see. But after he said stuff about like I guess Push saying stuff in that song, like little jabs, I could see it. And I don't know where people got the like that Jay-Z, Nas, and Kendrick was gonna be the features. I'm not really sure. Like I said, taking everything with a grain of salt because people also said that the in the Chromacopia Saint Chroma video that the like soldiers that had masks on it, like those were all the features. So sometimes y'all just be talking and making shit up. So I'll be here when it releases and I will be listening to the album. Not really sure if I'll put that on Patreon or if I'll put it over here. Just depends if people want to see it, you know. But yeah, I'm excited. I like this. I like where rap is at currently. So anyways, y'all like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, follow me on well, no, don't follow me on TikTok, but follow me, subscribe to me on Patreon. I'll see y'all in the next one.